Hello everybody and welcome back to Leeton. My name's Jace and I really need to get out here and do some more harvesting and tidying up, because if you've been watching the videos lately you'll know I've been extremely busy at work and life has just taken over, and the veg plot has had to take a bit of a back seat, but we've had a lot of veg and I'm really pleased with the way it's gone, even though we've not had a particularly good summer. So there's stuff out here now that I really need to get. There's some chilies, there's peppers, I think there's even still a few onions just down here, some red onions. And I think what I'm going to do today is just go all the way down this side, all these pallet collar beds and the pots, harvest what needs harvesting, get rid of what is no good anymore and compost it, try and clear the ground a bit. And if I've got time, then I'm going to go down the middle of the polytunnel area, and it's going to take a few days I think to get this sorted out. So I'm going to video what I get done today. That'll be one video, and then we'll just go from there because there's a lot to do. So one of the first jobs I want to do is harvest these chilies. I mean, considering these have been just chucked outside all summer, they're not bad results, to be honest, and I want to get them picked before they start to rot, because we're losing the nighttime temperatures now and the daylight hours. So we've got those, we've got all these here, and we've got these, and then we've got these. Now if you remember, I don't know what varieties these are because it was a mixed packet. So it is going to be trial and error, but I think these are going to be pretty hot ones. So I'm really pleased the way they've come out, considering they haven't been in a greenhouse or a polytunnel. It's not bad going. And we've got these over here as well. So I'm going to get them all picked. Ones that aren't quite ripe I might leave on the windowsill a bit, just to see if that does finish them off. And they're obviously going to get processed and frozen, I think. Although I have, for tonight, bought myself some diced lamb. I'm going to make myself a curry. So that's a plan for dinner tonight. So these aren't going to do much more now. So I think as I harvest these, I'm going to cut the plants up, ready to go in the compost. Just by snipping off the branches and then snipping off any peppers that are worth keeping. I'm going to keep the green ones as well and just chop them up and put them in different dishes as I cook. Okay, so that's the chilies harvested. I think we've got 5 or 6 different varieties there. No idea of the temperature of any of them. It's going to be trial and error, but some, like I say, I'm going to put on a windowsill just to see if they'll continue ripening, same as you would with tomatoes, etc. If not, they can still be used when they're green, as far as I know. Well, I ate one before, so I'm pretty certain it'll be okay. This particular plant, all these came up one plant. And you've got yellow, orange, red, quite interesting. So this is one plant, that's another, etc. So if anybody can identify what these chilies are, then please let me know. So I've got a bit of a strategy for the compost, because as you know, you can buy shop bought compost that has weed killer in it, which then kills whatever you try to grow in it. So what I'm going to do, I think, is any pots that I've used this year that have grown decent crops, I'm going to put that compost on the beds for next year as a soil conditioner, rather than risking buying compost and adding it to the beds and then that being a problem. So I think the strategy is going to be any spent compost that's been used will go on the beds as a soil conditioner, and any compost that I buy, then that will be used in pots to test it. And the compost that I'm making in the various compost bays, that I will save and use in pots as well for like my potatoes. You know, the experiment that I did earlier in the year proved that the homemade compost was far better than some of the other alternatives. So I think that's the plan. So I'm going to empty the pots that the peppers were in onto the beds and then just continue clearing my way along. So I'm just emptying this pot, which I think had parsley in it, and I also use my homemade compost because we've got some baby potatoes, but there was no potato plant actually growing out of the pot itself, not that I saw anyway. So a little bit of a bonus, some little salad potatoes. Okay, so this butternut squash is a nice one down there, and I'll give them a tap. It sounds hollow, it's pretty much done. So that one will be coming off. We've got another one down here. That one's ready. So I'll be taking those, and that's grown all the way from there over the wall and all the way up there. It's now at the end of the wall, right over there. Now there's one flower about 2/3 of the way along, and then no more flowers. So what I'm going to do is cut that off just past that flower. It might do something, but I doubt it. But it gets rid of some of the plant, puts the energy into the flower, especially when I've took these two fruit. And it might do some more. If not, it'll go in the compost in a few weeks. Over here we've got courgettes that belong in the Jurassic period. Look at that. And if I'm honest, we're not going to do anything with those, so they will be getting composted. All of these courgettes now can come out and go into the compost. Got another butternut squash there because it put out a side shoot and went across, so I need to be careful what I'm cutting, what I'm pulling out when I do the courgettes. Yeah, I might keep one. I don't know what I'm going to do with it really. Am I right in thinking that a big courgette is just a marrow? Is that true? Let me know. It's amazing, isn't it? You can have a really hot or really wet summer, but the weeds still grow the same no matter what. And I've really neglected the weeding side of the garden. So we're looking a little bit tidier down there now. Those there in that bed, they're the Swedes, so they're not desperate to come out of the ground. I'm going to leave them. Same with the leeks. There's a few that are bolting, but they're okay for now. Courgettes, they're gone. Butternut squash is sorted out a bit. Got carrots in this front bed, but they're okay in the ground for now. And the parsnips just behind. I'm going to dig some of those up tomorrow. My mum wants some of those. So I think next I'm going to sort this out, because these were the melons that I planted out probably July, and it was always a bit of a sort of gamble whether they'd do anything, and they didn't. The weather turned and that was it. They were never going to do anything. So all that's got to be cleared, and that compost in them pots can be spread onto the beds when needed. And I think then I need to get down this middle bed and pick all the peppers that are good, and down there as well where those weeds are, there's celeriac and celery in there, which I'm not going to dig up because I've got nowhere to put them at the moment. I'm going to have to defrost the freezer and sort all that out as well. We've got cucumbers, huge cucumbers that aren't going to be any good now, so that's all going to get composted. Got one in that pot there as well, and another one down the bottom. So I think that's the plan for the rest of the day. So I'm just sat in the shed having a brew, and while I'm doing it I'm sorting out the pink fir apple. So I've basically got a keep pile, give them a good inspection, make sure they're okay. No rotten bits, no green bits, no holes in them, or I haven't caught them with a fork or a spade, anything like that. So that's the pile that I'm going to store, and I will store them in buckets, dry compost, and they will be put in there in layers, and compost around them so that none of the potatoes are touching each other, and then they'll be stored in here in the cool. These are ones that are either they're really defective, so they're rotten, rats have nibbled them, whatever. Those ones, they'll go back in the compost. And in here I'm saving ones that are probably too small that you could be bothered to peel them, but they're in good condition, there's nothing wrong with them. And these ones I'm going to save as seed potatoes for next year. And I've done the same with the Charlotte. All the ones that are sort of pretty small, egg size, that are in good condition, they get saved. Well, not all the ones, but enough for seed potatoes next year. They get saved, and I'll keep them paper bag. I think this was an Amazon delivery bag, and they'll just get kept in here on the shelf. And I'll check them every now and again just to make sure none of them are rotting, because the problem is you only have to have one that rots and then they're all had it, you know. Now ones like this, so that's a good potato, but I've cut it with a spade. That one, well, I'll probably take up to the house and peel it, cut that end off, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, you know, it's perfectly good to use. So that's going to be another pile which we'll put there. So they're there for use immediately. So that's kind of how I sort out my potatoes. Well, it's starting to look a bit clearer, messy but clearer, and just got to carry on really. So I've got rid of the cucumbers, the peppers. This area is now all the potatoes have been dug up. Well, as we all know, you never get them all, and they grow next year as volunteers, but that area's clear. Sadly, the dwarf beans I grew down there, never got to eat any of them, and they're all on the turn now. But I'm going to leave them for a little bit and just save the seed for next year. That area is celery and celeriac, and I think they're okay for now. We'll harvest it and probably freeze it. And then this area, as I mentioned before, is Maris Piper, still in the ground. Just need to get all the other potatoes we've got sorted out first. So not bad progress. I'm going to get back out here tomorrow, I think, if the weather stays good, because I've got all these sprouts I need to collect. There's loads of them, so that's a job in the morning, because again my mum wants some of those, and I'll take her some rhubarb as well. So yeah, progress. So what we've actually harvested today is a whole tray of chillies and some new potatoes that I didn't even know I had. I'm going to keep one of the marrows just for now, but I'm not sure I'll use it. red onion that I found, a couple of cucumbers that are still good, a couple of butternut squash, and a bucket full of green peppers, which are going to have to get processed and frozen because they won't last that long. So, not bad. Looking a bit clearer. Ready for the morning. So thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do, and follow me on the journey to become more self-sufficient. And if anyone's got any suggestions of what I should be sowing now to plant out for the winter, let me know.